Hi, Margot. Welcome to Land the Job.
Hi.
Can you start off just by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm going into my fourth year at U of T, and I'm in Rotman Commerce, and I'm a public accounting specialist.
Very cool. So today we're going to talk a little bit about your interview experience, specifically for the sales and training program at Scotiabank. So firstly, can you start off by telling us if you remember at what time, like which month you applied for the actual position?
I think the first application I completed maybe at the beginning of September.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And so once you applied for Scotiabank and you heard back from them, can you tell us a bit about what the process was? Did you have an in-person interview or a phone interview, virtual? How was it?
So my application process was a little different. I was completing an exchange in Milan during the fall semester. Yeah, very exciting. But it meant I couldn't do my interviews in person. So all my interviews were over the phone. I think actually both of them were over Skype. My first interview was just two people and me, and it was more behavioral focused. Asking a typical interview questions, not too technical. And then the second interview, so the final round, was what they consider a super day. So it means that you have 3 sets of interviews, one of which was technical, and then the other 2 for me are behavioral.
Right, awesome. So when you say Skype, was it video, kind of like what we're doing right now, or was it really just like phone call?
Sorry, it was video, yeah.
Video, okay, yeah. Video is always so much more intimidating, I think.
I know.
Personally, I can't think once video's on, my mind goes blank. So. Cool. So another question for you is, when you did the super day, which I guess was a bit more technical, were there any questions that you remember you had a really hard time answering, and what did you do in the situation?
Yeah, so they asked me what the current US to CAD exchange rate was, or like what it opened at. And I would say I know around the range that it varies, but I couldn't tell you the third place that it's trading at right now. So I stated my assumptions where I thought the interest rate, or the exchange rate would be. I think it was in the fall. So I just gave my assumptions about the current conditions and where that exchange rate would be around. And then they asked me to make a guess. So I just made a logical guess based on those assumptions. And it turned out, because I had made assumptions, to be like around where the number was, and it was fine. So I'd say don't stress about it if they ask you a question like that and you don't know the exact rate something's trading at. Just state your assumptions, and then they might ask you to make a guess. But if you have good assumptions, it won't matter too much if your guess is off.
So for the breakdown, for the super day, were they mainly technical questions or mainly behavioral questions, or would you say it was a pretty even breakdown?
So we had 3 different interviews, and I think each of them were half an hour. My first interview was technical based. I didn't really get too many behavioral questions. I actually think it was primarily just 30 minutes of technical. And then my other 2 interviews were both behavioral. So it would have been an hour of behavioral questions.
Okay, cool. And one question that I've actually gotten often being in sales and trading when people ask me how I personally prepared is, were your questions similar to investment banking interview questions? So were you asked things such as accounting questions or explain what a DCF is, or was it different? If you could explain your take on that.
At least from my experience, I thought they were very different. It was more based on the current market conditions, how markets are moving, where you thought they were going to move. As I said, they asked me for an exact rate, but I think they were really trying to get at if I understood current market conditions. So I'd say it's not so much on going through, I guess, calculations like IB. They ask you to do a DCF and whatnot, but in sales and trading, it's more of, at least my experience was more of, do you understand the current markets, and are you able to, I guess, articulate your opinion on them?
Okay. Yeah, I think I had a similar experience.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you did to actually prepare for the interview?
I definitely read and listened to podcasts quite frequently for the month going up, just to make sure that I understood current market conditions. And then I tried to have conversations with people I knew who were in the business, just because I don't regularly on the day-to-day basis have chats with my friends about current markets or like where I think they're going. So I want to get experience, I guess, talking about them. So I had calls again with people I knew in the markets or who are working in the markets, just to have conversations and get used to talking about what's happening. And then I also looked online as well, just going through like what are some practice sales and trading interview questions. But I'd say most of them that I found were, again, just making sure you understand current markets.
Cool. And so when you actually came by the job posting for sales and trading, did you just come by online through like a school portal, or did you maybe hear about it from someone, network your way to it? Can you just tell us a bit about how you actually came by this job posting?
I saw it on our Rotman, so the school portal, and that's how I applied.
Okay, cool. Me too. So just to finish up here, my last question is, what advice do you have for students that are going through recruitment right now?
I'd say don't be discouraged if you don't get a response on even a few jobs. I definitely sent out my fair share of applications. So don't be discouraged. Just keep on looking for postings that come up and stay positive. One will come and it's okay. We all submit a lot of applications.
We all really do. Well, thank you so much, Margot. This was really helpful, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Thank you. Bye.